Hello and welcome to another episode of Piano TV. I'm Alicia, your host, and today we are going to be doing another episode of the hardest piano music ever. And this is a series that I've dedicated to the pieces of music that are just wildly difficult. They are extreme for even people who have been playing many, many years, myself included. So the ranking system for these pieces are according to Henley. Henley's a popular music editor. They have a website where they rank the pieces of pretty standard classical literature, and 9 is their highest ranking, and it's a pretty rare ranking, all things considered. So today I thought it would be fun to look at 3 of the pieces that Debussy wrote that are at a Henley 9 level. I was actually kind of surprised that there were so few level 9 pieces by Debussy, because by and large, Debussy wrote nothing for beginners or intermediate students. All of his piano music is for, at the minimum, an early advanced student, but most of his music is quite difficult, so I assumed that there would be more than just 3 level 9 pieces. But that being said, 2 out of the 3 pieces are from his Douze Etudes and his 12 Etudes, and the rest are all level 8. So it's not like they're not difficult. They're all really, really difficult. They're just not all extremely difficult. So anyway, that's what we're going to get into this video. We're going to talk about the 3 extremely difficult pieces, maybe a little bit of backstory. I'll share audio clips with you guys, and it'll be fun. I'd like to think. I haven't filmed it yet, so I'm hoping it'll be fun. All right, let's get started. Debussy's 12 Etudes were written toward the end of his life in the summer of 1915 during World War I, and it was there he spent his time with his family in a little country house. During this period, he was highly productive and creative, and he wrote the Etudes in this time period. So of the Etudes, he said, "I confess that I'm pleased to have created a work which, false vanity aside, will occupy a special niche. In point of technique, these etudes will usefully prepare pianists for a better understanding of the fact that the portals of music can only be opened with formidable hands." And this is from a guy who wasn't prone to self-congratulation. The studies were divided into 2 separate books and dedicated to the memory of Frédéric Chopin. Each of the studies focuses on building a specific type of technique, such as thirds, octaves, chromatic scales, and so on. All 12 of Debussy's etudes are listed at an ABRSM level, the highest, LRCM, and the highest of the RCM's levels as well, which is the ABRSM level. So you could do any one of these for your exams if you wanted to, but in particular, 2 out of these 12 stand out as being more difficult than the rest, and that's the 7th etude. My cat was just about to stand on my computer, who was making me a little paranoid. No. The 7th etude and the 11th. We'll start by talking about the 7th etude, dubbed for chromatic degrees. The 7th etude features the feather light and extremely fast playing of chromatic scale passages in the right hand. The piece itself isn't tonal, and it isn't atonal, and it's also not modal. It's really quite unique. The left hand is carrying the theme and the tune. Vladimir Jakelevich said, "Does not the chromaticism of the 7th study, in its own way, seem to thank the rain in the morning?" I guess you can decide for yourself when we have a listen. His 11th etude is dubbed for chords or composite arpeggios. And this final study acts kind of like the final part of a concerto with its rhythmic vitality and vast dynamic register, according to Eli Robert Schmitz. Another person hears in the study an assertion of almost aggressive power. And people have noted that this piece is unusual for Debussy, who tends to be more in the impressionist style. But this piece in particular begins with a Stravinsky/Prokofiev feel that's quite different from his usual music. The other collection of Debussy's that has a very difficult piece in it is his second set of preludes. He wrote the first set of preludes in 1910, and this set came along in 1913, just 2 years prior to the etudes we were just talking about. So all of these extremely difficult pieces came from his later period in writing. So the last in the set is dubbed Fireworks, and as the subject of this video, it's one of the most difficult pieces of piano ever. As the Henley website says, this piece is fireworks of pianistic bravura in the true sense of the word. Says Joseph Dubose, it depicts a brilliant and spectacular fireworks display over Paris and captures in tones the many furious streaks of rockets and their colorful explosions in the night sky. Sweeping runs, outlining 2 major thirds a semitone apart, open the prelude, perhaps depicting the anticipation of the audience, while isolated tones, like little points of light, sound in the upper register of the piano. The texture of the piece grows ever thicker and more complex, and colors abound as the harmonies, figurations, and dynamics change to give representation to the wondrous display and patterns of colored light. At its close, the visual display begins to slowly fade away. Let's have a listen after that fabulous description. And that's all for today's video. It's a little bit shorter than some of the other ones we've done where there have been more pieces to explore, and I encourage you to check them out if you haven't, just so you can maybe get a sense of what pieces you'd like to put on your one day to play dream piano list. We've done Chopin, Liszt, and others, so definitely check that out. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you guys. I have to read this because I think it's really cool, but I don't know, it's just some people... Sorry, I kind of trailed off there.